Froth the haze of Earth's atmosphere, Captain Du-Won's crystalline eyes scanned the bustling settlement below. The alien commander sat motionless in his cloaked observation post, his iridescent skin reflecting the soft glow of monitoring equipment surrounding him. For over 200 cycles, he had served the stellar forces with distinction, encountering countless species across the galaxy. But these humans, there was something different about them. The settlement sprawled beneath him like a complex web, structures of varying sizes dotting the landscape. Vehicles moved in organized patterns along designated paths, while smaller figures, the humans themselves, scurried about their daily routines. Du-Won adjusted his sensory inputs, zooming in on a group of humans working on what appeared to be a construction site. Fascinating, he murmured to himself, noting how they coordinated their efforts despite their obvious physical limitations. Their bodies were soft, lacking the natural armor that protected his own species. Their muscles seemed weak compared to the enhanced strength of Stellar Forces soldiers. Even their skeletal structure appeared fragile, joined together by flexible connectors that seemed prone to damage. A soft chime indicated an incoming transmission. Commander Jia's holographic form materialized beside him, her elongated features set in their usual stern expression. The commander's service record was legendary even among the stellar forces, and her opinion carried significant weight in their military hierarchy. "Report your findings, Captain," she said, her voice carrying the distinctive harmonic undertones of their species. Du-Won gestured toward his display screens, bringing up detailed scans of human physiology. "Commander, these creatures appear physically inferior in every measurable way. Their bones break under pressures that our children could withstand. They lack natural defensive capabilities. No claws, no enhanced strength, not even basic armor. Their sensory capabilities are limited to a narrow spectrum of light and sound." He paused, bringing up more images of human activities. They require artificial protection from their own environment. "Look here, they must construct shelters against simple weather patterns. They need layers of synthetic materials just to survive temperature variations that our species barely notices." Commander Jia studied the data with careful attention. Yet they've advanced to the point of basic space travel and global communication networks. How do you explain this disparity, Captain? "I believe it's their tool use, Commander. They compensate for their physical weaknesses through technological innovation. But even their most advanced technology appears primitive compared to our standards." The commander's expression remained neutral, but Du-Won detected a slight shift in her harmonic frequencies, a sign of interest. "Continue your observations, Captain. Document everything. There must be a reason why the Council marked this species for special attention." After Commander Jaya's hologram faded, Du-Won returned to his observations. He watched as a human child fell, scraping its knee. The child cried out, such an inefficient response to minor damage. But then something unexpected happened. Instead of abandoning the injured member, other humans rushed to help. Within moments, the child was back on its feet, apparently ready to continue despite the injury. As the day progressed, Du-Won noticed more puzzling behaviors. The humans worked in extreme conditions, persisting long after his species would have required rest cycles. They solved problems through methods that seemed illogical at first, but achieved surprising results. They communicated constantly, sharing information and coordinating actions in complex patterns. When darkness fell, Du-Won expected the settlement to shut down for their rest cycle. Instead, the humans simply illuminated their pathways and continued their activities. He observed them working in shifts, maintaining constant productivity despite their biological need for regular sleep periods. A sudden alert drew his attention to his long-range scanners. A severe storm system was approaching the settlement. Based on his analysis of human structural integrity, their buildings should have been vulnerable to such weather patterns. Yet, instead of panicking, the humans began implementing what appeared to be well-practiced emergency procedures. Du-Won watched in growing amazement as they secured loose objects, reinforced structures, and organized themselves with remarkable efficiency. Their action showed not just preparation, but adaptation and innovation in real time as they faced the challenging conditions. As the storm intensified, Do-1's sensors detected something that made his crystalline eyes widen in surprise. Some humans were moving against the evacuation flow, heading toward areas of greatest danger. His scans showed them rescuing trapped individuals, protecting vital infrastructure, and maintaining essential services despite the severe conditions. Commander Jida, he transmitted urgently. I believe we need to revise our initial assessment. The commander's hologram appeared instantly. Explain. These humans, they're displaying characteristics I've never encountered before. Their physical limitations appear to drive them toward greater achievements rather than holding them back. They're not just surviving despite their weaknesses, they're thriving because of them. The storm raged through the night, but the human settlement endured. Do-1 watched as they immediately began repairs once the weather cleared, working together with remarkable coordination and resilience. Their efficiency in crisis recovery exceeded his predictions by a significant margin. Perhaps, Commander Jia said thoughtfully, we have been measuring the wrong variables. Continue your observations, Captain. But be warned, if these humans are indeed more capable than we initially assessed, they may detect your presence despite our cloaking technology. Do-1 acknowledged the warning, but his attention was already back on the settlement below. He had a growing sense that his initial assessment had been not just incomplete, but fundamentally flawed. These humans, with all their apparent weaknesses, were displaying strengths he had never considered possible. As the first rays of sunrise illuminated the settlement, Do-1 began drafting a new report. This time, he focused not on what the humans lacked, but on what they had accomplished despite, or perhaps because of, their limitations. He had a feeling that his next report to the Stellar Council would be very different from what they expected. The humans below continued their activities, unaware of the crystalline eyes watching them with growing respect. Soon, Do-1 knew his mission would enter a new phase. The question was no longer whether these humans were worthy of attention, but rather what other surprises they might reveal. In orbit high above, the vast ships of the stellar forces waited silently, their crews unaware that their first contact protocols might soon be tested in ways they never expected. Captain Do-1 settled in for another day of observation, his initial dismissal of human capabilities already transforming into something much more complex and much more interesting. The Antarctic winds howled across the frozen landscape as Captain Do-1 adjusted his observation equipment. From his cloaked position high above the ice sheet, he tracked the small group of humans making their way across the harsh terrain. The temperature readings made his crystalline structure vibrate with disbelief. Minus 60 degrees Celsius, with wind speeds that could topple their fragile bodies. The expedition team moved with practiced precision through the whiteout conditions. Their leader, Hey Newell, walked at the front, checking instruments and adjusting their course as needed. Do-1 had been watching her for 3 days now, and her capabilities continued to surprise him. Where most species would have retreated to safer regions, these humans deliberately sought out one of their planet's most extreme environments. Log entry, Antarctic Observation Day 4, Do-1 recorded. The human team continues to surpass expected endurance limits. Their protective gear, while primitive by our standards, shows remarkable efficiency. They've developed layered systems that trap their body heat while allowing necessary movement. Through his high-resolution scanners, Do-1 observed the team setting up camp as another brutal storm approached. Their movements were swift and coordinated, each member knowing their role. Hey Newell directed the operation with calm authority, her voice carrying clearly through his audio sensors despite the howling wind. Base camp, this is Team Alpha. Hey Newell's voice crackled through their communication systems. Storm front approaching from the southwest. We're securing position at coordinates 82 degrees south, 45 degrees east. All team members accounted for. Do-1 watched as they anchored their shelter against the wind, using the ice itself as protection. Their design was simple but effective. Another example of human ingenuity compensating for their physical limitations. The team quickly disappeared inside just as the storm hit with full force. Commander Jaya's hologram appeared beside him. "Your latest reports are causing quite a stir at command, Captain. Some are suggesting you've become too impressed with these creatures." "Observe this, Commander," Do-One replied, sending her the live feed. "They're not just surviving here. They're conducting complex scientific research. Their equipment may seem basic, but their methodology is sound. They're gathering data about their planet's climate history." Inside the shelter, Haynewell's team huddled around their equipment, analyzing ice core samples they'd collected earlier that day. Despite the extreme conditions outside, they maintained their focus and efficiency. Do-One increased the magnification, studying their faces. Where he expected to see fear or distress, he instead saw excitement and determination. "Most fascinating," he continued his log, "is their response to failure. When their initial drilling equipment malfunctioned due to the extreme cold, they didn't abandon their mission. Instead, they modified their tools on site, using basic materials to create an effective solution. The storm raged through the night, but the human shelter held firm. Do-One's sensors detected them taking turns sleeping while maintaining constant monitoring of both their environment and their research equipment. Their discipline rivaled that of Stellar Force's training protocols. As dawn approached, though in the Antarctic winter, darkness still dominated, Haynewell emerged from the shelter. She secured herself with a safety line and checked their equipment, her movements careful but confident on the treacherous ice. Do-One's sensors detected her elevated heart rate and increased respiration, clear signs of physical stress, yet she showed no indication of retreating. "Commander," Do-One transmitted, "I believe we need to reconsider our classification of human adaptability. Their biological limitations seem to drive them to develop increasingly sophisticated solutions. They're not just adapting to survive, they're adapting to thrive." The team resumed their work as soon as the storm passed, drilling deeper into the ice. Do-One watched as they carefully extracted and preserved ice cores, each layer containing information about Earth's climate history. Their dedication to understanding their own planet was remarkable. "Their hunger for knowledge outweighs their physical comfort," he noted in his log. "They willingly endure extreme conditions not for survival, but for scientific advancement. This combination of physical endurance and intellectual curiosity is unprecedented in my experience." Haynewell's voice caught his attention again as she gathered her team for a briefing. "The next section is crucial," she explained, pointing to their charts. "We've reached ice layers that could contain data from over 100,000 years ago. Every core must be handled with absolute precision." Do-One zoomed in on their faces as they listened to their leader. Despite exhaustion evident in their features, their eyes showed intense focus and determination. They worked together seamlessly, each performing their role in the complex drilling and preservation process. "These humans," he transmitted to Commander Jaya, "have developed technology that allows them to read their planet's history from frozen water. They brave lethal conditions not for immediate survival, but to understand their world better. How many species do we know that show such dedication to pure knowledge?" The commander's response carried a note of concern. "Be careful, Captain. Your admiration for these creatures is becoming obvious. Remember, we are here to observe and assess, not to become invested in their achievements." But as Do-One watched Haynewell's team continue their work through another biting Antarctic day, he couldn't help but revise his understanding of human capabilities. Their physical forms might be fragile, but their combination of technological innovation, intellectual curiosity, and sheer determination made them formidable in ways he had never considered possible. The human expedition continued their research, unaware of the crystalline eyes watching from above, recording their every move with growing fascination. In their struggle against the extreme conditions, they were teaching Do-One lessons about strength that went far beyond physical capabilities. The learning curve, it seemed, went both ways. The silence of the mountain research station shattered when the first alarm sounded. Captain Du-Won's crystalline form stiffened as he watched the human research team approach their hidden observation post. Despite their advanced cloaking technology, the humans had somehow detected the subtle energy signatures of their equipment. Captain Ta-hyun led his research security team with swift precision, securing the perimeter around the mysterious readings they had detected. The humans moved with practiced efficiency, their weapons ready but not raised, showing both caution and restraint. Du-Won observed their formation through the post's sensors, noting how they positioned themselves to maximize cover while maintaining clear lines of sight. All units, defensive positions. Ta-hyun's voice carried clearly through Du-Won's audio pickup. Unknown technology detected. Maintain distance and await further instructions. Do-Won activated his communication link. Commander Jaya, we have a situation. The humans have located Observation Post 7. Their approach suggests military training, not simple curiosity. The humans established a defensive perimeter with remarkable speed. They used the natural rock formations and vegetation for cover, setting up what Du-Won recognized as interlocking fields of fire. Their positioning was tactically sound, showing an understanding of both modern combat principles and natural terrain advantage. Initiate intimidation protocol. Commander Jaya ordered. Let's see how they respond to a display of superior force. Do-Won activated the post's defense systems. Holographic projections of advanced weapon emplacements materialized around the position. The air crackled with energy as shield generators hummed to life, creating visible distortions in the air. But the humans didn't retreat. Instead, Ta-hyun's team adjusted their positions, adapting to the new threats with calm efficiency. They established backup positions and began setting up their own equipment. Simple but effective tools that began interfering with the post's sensor systems. Remarkable, Du-Won noted in his tactical log. They're using their own research equipment to create electronic countermeasures. They've repurposed scientific instruments into defensive tools. The standoff continued as daylight began to fade. Du-Won watched as the humans set up portable lights, carefully positioned to create shadows that could hide their movements while illuminating any approach to their positions. They worked in shifts, maintaining constant vigilance while allowing team members to rest and eat. Your orders, Commander. Du-Won transmitted. They show no signs of withdrawal, and their defensive position is surprisingly robust. Increase pressure, Commander Jaya responded. Use sonic deterrents. The observation post emitted high-frequency pulses designed to cause discomfort in most species. The humans winced at the sound but quickly produced small devices from their equipment, simple ear protection that they distributed among their team. Within minutes, they had neutralized another of the Stellar Force's standard deterrent measures. Ta-hyun's voice carried across the command channel again. Unknown entities, we are a peaceful research expedition, but we are prepared to defend ourselves. We propose communication rather than confrontation. Do-Won felt his crystalline structure vibrate with surprise. The humans were offering dialogue while maintaining their defensive posture, a balanced approach that showed both strength and wisdom. The situation evolved into a complex tactical puzzle. The humans began using their research equipment to probe the observation post's defenses, each attempt revealing remarkable ingenuity. They found ways to test the shield harmonics without triggering the automated defense systems, demonstrating an intuitive understanding of advanced technology they had never encountered before. Commander, Du-Won transmitted, their approach is unlike anything in our tactical databases. They're treating this as both a military and scientific challenge. Each of their actions serves multiple purposes, gathering data while testing our responses. The humans had effectively contained the observation post without firing a single shot. They used their knowledge of the local environment to tremendous advantage, positioning themselves where the post's sensors struggled to maintain clear readings due to natural mineral deposits in the surrounding rocks. As night fell completely, Ta-hyun's team demonstrated another unexpected capability. They maintained their defensive position in complete darkness, using what appeared to be primitive but effective night vision technology. Their movements remained coordinated and purposeful, showing extensive training in low-light operations. They're adapting to our presence with remarkable speed, Do-1 noted. Each of our countermeasures is met with an innovative response. They're learning our capabilities even as they contain us. The humans' approach combined military discipline with scientific curiosity in ways that defied conventional response protocols. They set up monitoring equipment that began recording and analyzing every energy signature from the observation post, while simultaneously maintaining their tactical advantage. Captain Do-1. Commander Jaya's transmission carried a note of concern. We may need to consider more direct action. But before any escalation could occur, Ta-Hyun's team demonstrated yet another surprising capability. They began broadcasting a simple but elegant mathematical sequence, a clear attempt at communication that showed both intelligence and peaceful intent, even while maintaining their defensive positions. Do-1 watched as the humans continued their dual approach of scientific investigation and military readiness. They had effectively checkmated the observation post. Any aggressive action would only confirm their suspicions, while inaction allowed them to continue gathering data about the alien presence. The skirmish had evolved into something unprecedented in Stellar Forces records, a confrontation where the technologically inferior force had gained the tactical advantage through a combination of adaptability, intelligence, and measured response. The humans had turned a potential conflict into a research opportunity while maintaining security protocols that would have impressed even veteran Stellar Forces commanders. As the night deepened, Do-1 found himself revising yet again his assessment of human capabilities. Their response to discovering advanced alien technology hadn't been panic or aggression, but rather a calculated mixture of caution and curiosity. They had demonstrated capabilities that went far beyond their apparent technological level. The Grand Chamber of the Stellar Council hummed with nervous energy as Captain Do-1's hologram materialized in the center of the room. The crystalline structures of the council members reflected the soft ambient light as they gathered to hear his report on human capabilities. Their usual calm demeanor showed subtle signs of concern. Honorable Council, Do-1 began, his voice resonating through the chamber. I must report findings that challenge our initial assessments of human capabilities. Let me share our observations of Security Officer Sung-min during the Mountain Base incident. The chamber darkened as Do-1 projected recordings from their observation posts. The images showed a human security officer continuing his duties despite sustaining injuries during a facility accident. Sung-min had maintained his post even with a broken arm and severe burns, coordinating evacuation efforts and ensuring the safety of research personnel. Our medical analysis indicated that the pain levels would have incapacitated most known species, Do-1 explained. Yet Sung-min not only remained conscious but continued to perform complex tasks. This was not an isolated incident. Commander Jaya stepped forward, her crystalline form catching the light. Council members, we have documented numerous similar cases. These humans routinely push beyond what we believe to be their physical limitations. The recordings continued, showing humans working in extreme conditions, deep underwater facilities, high-altitude research stations, and radiation-heavy environments. In each case, they demonstrated remarkable resilience and adaptability. But more concerning than their physical endurance, Do-1 continued, is their rate of technological advancement. We have observed them reverse engineering principles from merely observing our cloaked equipment's energy signatures. The council chamber filled with murmurs as Do-1 displayed graphs showing human technological progress. In the past lunar cycle alone, they have developed 3 new methods of detecting our presence. Their innovation speed exceeds our predictive models by factors of 10 or more. A senior council member raised a crystalline appendage. Could this be a statistical anomaly? No, council member, Commander Jaya responded. We have verified these findings across multiple observation posts and geographical locations. Their problem-solving capabilities appear to accelerate when faced with challenges. Do-1 brought up new data streams showing human research facilities. They don't follow expected technological development patterns. Where other species advance in a linear fashion, humans make irregular leaps forward. They combine technologies in ways our analysts hadn't considered possible. The chamber darkened further as Do-1 displayed footage from various human laboratories. Scientists worked with equipment that seemed primitive by stellar forces standards, yet they achieved results that approached advanced alien technology. Their greatest strength, Do-1 explained, appears to be their ability to innovate under pressure. When our observation post's defenses challenged them, they created countermeasures using basic research equipment. They turned scientific instruments into sensor arrays capable of detecting our most advanced cloaking technology. Commander Jaya's expression showed growing concern. Their adaptation rate suggests they could achieve technological parity with our forces much sooner than originally calculated. They learn not just from success, but from failure, perhaps especially from failure. The council chamber filled with holographic displays showing human progress in various fields: energy production, transportation, communications, and weapons development. Each graph showed acceleration patterns that defied standard predictive models. Most concerning, Do-1 continued, is their collaborative potential. When one human makes a discovery, they share it with remarkable speed. Their global communication networks allow for rapid dissemination of new ideas and technologies. A council member interrupted. Are they aware of our presence? They suspect. Commander Jaya answered. But their response has been measured. Instead of panic, they show scientific curiosity. They're studying us even as we study them. Do-1 brought up final data sets showing human response patterns to various stellar forces testing protocols. Their problem-solving methodology is unlike anything in our records. They combine intuition with analytical thinking in ways that produce unexpected solutions. The chamber remained silent as the council processed this information. The implications were clear. Humans were not just another emerging species to be observed and catalogued. They represented something new, something that didn't fit into existing classification systems. Their drive to explore and understand appears to override even their survival instincts. Do-1 concluded. They willingly place themselves in dangerous situations if they believe they can learn from the experience. Commander Jaya stepped forward again. We must revise our entire approach to studying this species. Their combination of physical endurance, technological innovation, and psychological resilience makes them unique in our records. The council chamber buzzed with discussion as members debated the implications of these findings. The humans had demonstrated capabilities that challenged fundamental assumptions about technological and biological development. As the session concluded, Do-1 added one final observation. Perhaps most remarkable is their ability to function as individuals while maintaining strong group cohesion. Sung Min's actions were his own choice, yet they reflected a broader human characteristic: the will to persist beyond normal limitations for the benefit of others. The Stellar Council's chamber gradually returned to its normal lighting, but the atmosphere remained heavy with the weight of these revelations. The humans had proven themselves to be far more than primitive beings playing with advanced technology. They were something entirely new in the galaxy, and that made them both fascinating and frightening. The first signs of trouble appeared during a routine communication check between Stellar Force's observation posts. Static crackled through usually crystal-clear quantum channels, followed by bursts of organized data patterns that shouldn't have been possible for any Earth-based technology to generate. Do-1's crystalline form vibrated with concern as he analyzed the signal patterns. Command, we're detecting anomalous transmissions across all secure frequencies. The signature appears to be impossible. Deep within a mountain research facility, Dr. Minji worked steadily at her console, surrounded by equipment that combined human and reverse-engineered alien technology. Her team had worked for months to decrypt and understand the faint signals they detected from the observation posts. Signal penetration at 60%, one of her team members reported. The interference pattern is holding steady. Do-1 dispatched scout drones to trace the source of the mysterious signals. The drone's paths led them to what appeared to be an ordinary geological research station nestled in a remote valley. But their sensors detected energy signatures that no human facility should have been capable of producing. Commander Jada, Do-1 transmitted urgently. We've located the signal source. The humans have somehow managed to recreate our quantum communication technology. But these readings suggest they've modified it in ways our engineers never considered. Inside the facility, Dr. Minji reviewed the incoming data streams. Her team had not only managed to tap into the alien communication network, but had found ways to improve its efficiency using principles of quantum entanglement that the stellar forces had overlooked. The beauty of their system is its rigidity, she explained to her colleagues. They built it to be perfect, but that very perfection makes it predictable. We found ways to operate in the spaces between their quantum states. Do-1's observation team moved closer to the facility, their cloaking systems operating at maximum capacity. But as they approached, their systems began behaving erratically. The humans had somehow created a field that interfered with their most advanced stealth technology. They've developed countermeasures we never thought possible, Do-1 reported. Their understanding of our technology exceeds all projections. They're not just copying our systems, they're improving them. Dr. Minji's team had achieved this breakthrough by approaching the alien technology from an entirely different perspective. Where the stellar forces sought perfection in isolation, the humans looked for ways to make different systems work together synergistically. Each sensor reading gives us more insight into their technological base, Dr. Minji noted, studying the incoming data. Their systems are incredibly advanced, but they follow rigid patterns. We found ways to work within those patterns while introducing controlled chaos. The situation reached a critical point when the human facility began actively probing the stellar forces' defense networks. Not with brute force attacks, but with elegantly designed signal packages that slipped through their most sophisticated security protocols. Their approach is unprecedented, Commander Jaya observed, her crystalline form showing signs of distress. They're not trying to break our systems, they're teaching themselves to speak their language. Inside the facility, Dr. Minji and her team continued their work, unaware of the panic they were causing among the alien observers. They had created hybrid systems that combined human intuition with alien precision, producing technology that exceeded the capabilities of either species alone. The quantum field is stabilizing, one of Minji's assistants reported. We're achieving coherence rates beyond anything in the theoretical models. Do-1 watched in amazement as the humans pushed the boundaries of what his species had thought possible. They took technologies that the stellar forces had spent centuries perfecting and found ways to improve them in months. Their greatest advantage, he reported to command, is their willingness to experiment. Where we seek perfection through careful iteration, they make intuitive leaps that bypass entire stages of development. The human facility continued to emit signals that demonstrated increasingly sophisticated understanding of stellar forces technology. Each transmission showed evidence of new innovations, new ways of thinking about problems that had been considered solved. Dr. Minji stood at her console, reviewing the latest test results. We've achieved two-way quantum entanglement with their communication network, she announced to her team. But more importantly, we've found ways to expand the bandwidth beyond their current usage. The implications of this development sent shockwaves through the stellar forces command structure. The humans hadn't just learned to use their technology. They had found ways to improve it that the original designers had never imagined. Their approach to problem-solving defies our understanding, Do-1 reported. They combine theoretical knowledge with practical experimentation in ways that produce unexpected breakthroughs. As the human facility continued its work, it became clear that this was more than just a security breach. It represented a fundamental shift in the balance of power. The humans had proven themselves capable not just of understanding advanced alien technology, but of taking it in new directions. We need to reconsider everything we thought we knew about human capabilities, Commander Jaya concluded. They've shown us that our technological superiority may be more temporary than we imagined. The turning point had arrived. In their efforts to study and understand humanity, the stellar forces had inadvertently provided them with the tools to accelerate their own development. Dr. Minji and her team had done more than reverse engineer alien technology. They had reimagined it. The emergency council chamber of the stellar forces pulsed with tense energy as members gathered from across the galaxy. Captain Du-1 stood at the center, his crystalline form projecting data streams that filled the air around him. The evidence he presented painted a picture that none of them had expected to see. Honorable Council, Du-1 began, bringing up holographic displays of human research facilities. What you're seeing represents just 6 months of human technological development. In this time, they've not only detected our presence but developed effective countermeasures to technologies we believed unbreakable. The council members watched as Du-1 displayed footage of human scientists working with hybrid technology. The scenes showed them casually bypassing security systems that had protected stellar forces installations for centuries. Commander Jaya stepped forward, her form casting rainbow refractions across the chamber. We initially classified humans as a level 3 developing species. That classification was wrong. They don't develop like other species we've encountered. They evolve in response to challenges. Do-1 brought up new data streams showing human progress in various fields. Look at their adaptation rate. When we increased our cloaking field strength, they didn't just detect it. They found 3 different ways to track our movements. Each solution used a different approach we hadn't considered. The council chamber filled with murmurs as Du-1 displayed recordings from various human research facilities. Scientists worked with equipment that combined primitive Earth technology with advanced alien principles in ways that defied conventional understanding. Most remarkable is their response to failure. Du-1 continued. When their first attempts to detect our ships failed, they didn't give up. Instead, they used each failure to gather more data, approaching the problem from new angles until they succeeded. Commander Jia activated additional displays, showing human military responses to stellar forces' presence. Their tactical adaptability matches their technological innovation. They've developed defense strategies that account for capabilities they haven't even confirmed we possess. The Council watched footage of human military units conducting exercises that precisely countered stellar forces' standard protocols. They had somehow intuited alien tactical doctrine and developed effective countermeasures through observation alone. This is their true strength, Du-1 explained. They don't just solve problems, they anticipate them. Their scientists and military strategists work together, combining different fields of knowledge to create unexpected solutions. A senior council member raised a crystalline appendage. Could this be a statistical anomaly? Perhaps we're seeing the work of a few exceptional individuals. Commander Jia shook her head. No, council member. We've observed this pattern across multiple continents and cultures. It appears to be a species-wide trait. They actively seek out challenges to overcome. Do-1 brought up new displays showing human responses to various stellar forces testing protocols. When we increased pressure on their detection systems, their innovation rate increased proportionally. The more difficult we made it for them, the faster they developed solutions. The chamber darkened as Du-1 projected a timeline of human technological advancement. In the past year, they've compressed what should have been centuries of development into months. Their progress isn't linear. It accelerates when faced with obstacles. Commander Jaya stepped forward again. We're dealing with a species that turns adversity into advantage. Every attempt we've made to test their capabilities has only served to make them stronger. The council members watched as Du-1 displayed scenes from human training facilities. Their military forces practiced countering technologies they couldn't possibly have known existed, preparing for scenarios that should have been beyond their imagination. They've developed simulation systems, Du-1 explained, that model potential alien technologies based on partial data. They're not just reacting to what they've seen, they're preparing for what they haven't seen yet. The evidence continued to mount as Du-1 showed how humans had taken basic principles observed from stellar forces technology and expanded upon them in novel ways. They hadn't just copied alien science, they had found new applications for it. Their greatest weapon, Commander Jaya noted, is their creativity under pressure. Where other species might break, they innovate. Where others retreat, they advance. Every challenge we present becomes an opportunity for growth. The council chamber filled with discussion as members debated the implications. The humans had demonstrated capabilities that went beyond mere technological advancement. They had shown an ability to understand and improve upon alien concepts at a fundamental level. We must reconsider our entire approach, Du One concluded. Traditional containment strategies won't work with this species. Every barrier we put in their path becomes a stepping stone for further advancement. Commander Jaya's expression showed a mixture of concern and admiration. They've turned our observation mission into a catalyst for their own development. Even our most careful monitoring has provided them with data they've used to advance their understanding. As the emergency session drew to a close, the Council faced an unprecedented situation. They had encountered many species throughout the galaxy, but none that responded to challenges quite like humans did. We're not just observing their development anymore, Commander Jaya stated. We're witnessing the emergence of a species that could fundamentally change the balance of power in the galaxy, not through superior technology or physical strength, but through their unique ability to adapt and overcome. The council chamber gradually returned to its normal lighting, but the atmosphere remained charged with the weight of these revelations. The strategic reassessment was clear. Humanity had proven itself to be far more than anyone had expected, and their potential seemed limitless. In the Grand Hall of the Stellar Academy, cadets gathered around display screens showing Captain Du One's final report. The culmination of years of observation had led to a breakthrough in understanding that would change how the stellar forces viewed humanity forever. The human pattern finally makes sense. Du One's recorded image explained to the assembled students. We were looking for specialization when we should have been studying adaptability. Every weakness we perceived in them was actually a source of strength. The report showed scenes from Earth, humans living in deserts, frozen wastelands, dense jungles, and deep underwater facilities. Each environment should have been lethal to their fragile bodies, yet they thrived through technological innovation and sheer determination. Meanwhile, in her mountain laboratory, Dr. Minji made the final adjustments to her quantum harmonization system. The breakthrough had come when she realized that perfection wasn't the goal. Harmony was. Her team had developed technology that didn't just copy stellar forces systems, but worked alongside them, creating something entirely new. The signal interference was never meant to be hostile. She explained to the observation team that had finally made direct contact. We were trying to establish communication, to show we could work together. Du One's report continued to unfold across the Academy's screens. Humans evolved without natural armor, so they learned to create it. They lacked night vision, so they invented ways to see in darkness. Every limitation became a challenge to overcome, every obstacle an opportunity to innovate. The footage showed human achievements across their history, from simple tools to space exploration, each step driven by the need to overcome their natural limitations. Where other species evolved physical solutions to environmental challenges, humans developed technological and social ones. Their social structures reflect this adaptability, Du One explained. They form teams that combine different skills and perspectives. When one human reaches a limit, another provides a solution. Their diversity isn't a weakness. It's a crucial part of their success. Dr. Minji's team demonstrated this principle as they worked with the Stellar Forces scientists who had come to study their breakthrough. Humans and aliens worked side by side, each bringing their unique perspectives to shared challenges. The quantum harmonization wasn't just about technology, Dr. Minji explained to her alien colleagues. It was about finding ways for different systems to work together, just like different species can work together. Back at the Academy, the cadets watched as Du One's report showed human response to various crises. Whether facing natural disasters, technological failures, or unknown challenges, humans consistently found ways to adapt and overcome. Their creativity under pressure is unmatched, the report continued. Where other species seek to perfect existing solutions, humans imagine entirely new approaches. They don't just solve problems, they redefine them. The report highlighted how humans had turned the Stellar Force's observation mission into an opportunity for advancement. Every attempt to study them had provided them with new data, new challenges to overcome, new possibilities to explore. Dr. Minji's breakthrough had proven this point perfectly. The quantum harmonization system didn't just allow communication between human and alien technology. It created new capabilities that neither side had possessed alone. We're not looking at a primitive species that needs to be monitored, Du-Wan's report concluded. We're looking at potential allies who approach problems in ways we never considered. Their adaptability complements our stability. Their creativity enhances our precision. The Academy instructors noted how the cadets leaned forward, absorbing these lessons. The humans had shown them that true strength wasn't about being the most advanced or the most powerful. It was about being able to adapt, to learn, to overcome. The Quantum Harmonization Project became the first of many collaborative efforts between humans and the Stellar Forces. Dr. Minji's team worked alongside alien scientists, each learning from the other's approach to problem-solving. The future isn't about one species dominating another, Du-Wan's report finished. It's about learning from each other, combining our strengths, and facing challenges together. Humans have shown us that limitations only exist until someone decides to overcome them. As the report concluded, the Academy erupted in discussion. The lessons learned from studying humanity would reshape how the Stellar Forces approached their mission in the galaxy. They had come to study a primitive species and found instead a civilization that could teach them new ways of thinking. In her laboratory, Dr. Minji smiled as she watched human and alien scientists working together, their different approaches creating solutions neither would have found alone. The signal interference that had started as a mystery had become a bridge between civilizations. The story of human resilience and adaptability became more than just required reading. It became a model for how different species could work together, each contributing their unique strengths to overcome shared challenges. The end.